Hi, I'm Alan Cylinder.
And I'm his daughter, Chelsea Cylinder.
We're Cylinder. And today we're here to talk about the dreadful remake of Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. This is a movie that stars a well-cast Lily James and a horribly cast Armie Hammer. This film is a remake of Alfred Hitchcock's first American film, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1940. It's based on a novel by Daphne du Maurier. And yes, you can remake a movie based on a classic novel. But no, you can't remake it with no talent. And that's the case with the director, Ben Wheatley. He has made several movies and has continually shown that he has no reason to be behind a camera.
Here's my thing with this movie. I absolutely love the Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. It is a masterpiece. It's perfection. Why tamper with it? But if you're going to try and remake it, at least try and be faithful to the correct tone of the movie.
Yes, I agree. This movie is bright and beautiful, where it should be dark and gothic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just everything is wrong about this movie.
This movie is about a young, naive ladies' companion, played by Lily James, who falls in love with a very wealthy estate owner, played by Armie Hammer. And the estate owner is grieving over the death of his former wife, Rebecca.
And 3/4 of the way in, there's a big reveal, and it couldn't be handled worse in this version. There's another subsequent reveal later that's handled almost as bad, but not as bad as the initial.
That was very disappointing to me because that scene in the original movie is just so unbelievable, and this was just nothing.
Lily James is an actress I really like, and I liked much of her in this film, but by the end of the movie I was even getting tired of her. Armie Hammer is just way physically wrong for this role.
I do agree that Lily James was well cast, but I don't agree that Armie Hammer was abominably cast. I didn't really think he was that bad. I didn't mind him, really. Is he as good as Laurence Olivier? No.
But he's all wrong for the role. He's wrong physically. He's wrong age-wise. Everything about the role is wrong. If he were, 10 years older, he might have been all right. He's not the worst actor in the world. I don't particularly like him, but he's not the worst actor in the world.
I think in general the first half of the movie was better than the second half of the movie. In the first half of the movie, I could automatically tell that this was not going to be Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca or anywhere near, but it was a little bit enjoyable and I was having fun watching it.
It's kind of like a masterpiece theater kind of a movie, which is all wrong.
But about halfway in and then up to that big plot point that we were both talking about earlier, it just gets really kind of dull. And it's a shame because you have such a great story, but this was a missed opportunity to tell it well. However, after this big disappointing reveal scene, I did think it got a little better, a little more compelling, and I've heard a lot of people have the opposite view of mine.
Mine in particular, I thought it got way worse from that point on. It was like unsavable at that point. Two other important casting notes about this movie. One of the great villainesses in movie history is the Mrs. Danvers character. And it's played impeccably by Judith Anderson in the 1940 version. This time it's played by Kristen Scott Thomas. It didn't seem like a terrible choice when I heard about it, and I thought that she was going to really chew the scenery. Instead, she takes the opposite tact, and she looks like she's sleepwalking through the role. She underplays so much that I was almost hoping that the director would say, "Wake up, the cameras are rolling." But of course that director probably wasn't awake either. Another problem with casting is Sam Riley, who now plays a role that was originally played by the fabulous George Sanders, and he's no good either. I also wondered, did no one ever watch the original Hitchcock movie? I mean, he created a blueprint for how to make a great movie, and no one paid any attention to it. In conclusion, I have to say that I've always complained about remakes because you generally are remaking a good movie. Why not remake a bad movie? There's so many bad movies that could have been remade well, but instead they tackle movies that are already masterpieces. And this one is no exception. This truly is one of the worst movie remakes in movie history. I would give this movie 1.5 cylinders.
Wow, 1.5 cylinders. I would give this movie 2 cylinders.
Rebecca. This is Alan Cylinder.
And Chelsea Cylinder.
Saying see you at the movies.
Bye.